Right, this is broken in the last hour or so, is that Russia is banned from the Winter Olympics as well. Second Olympics they'll be banned from, including the Summer Olympics in Rio. Which basically means will the KHL go through their threat and not allow KHL-based ice hockey players to play at the Olympics, because that is then denying athletes the chance to compete further. This is just a bit more politically motivated now than it was 2 years ago. We know other nations have got doping programs. Kenya, for example, has been in the news for doping allegations. So, in my eyes, it's more political. I don't know who's put pressure on the IOC. Also, look where South Korea is. It's not actually that far from Russia and North Korea. North Korea's obviously shares a border with it, so I think there are more geopolitical considerations in this one. But clean Russian athletes can compete under a neutral flag. Well, this is complex. Obviously, this all goes back to allegations that were raised during the Sochi Olympics in 2014, statements of doping, etc. We do know that in previous Olympics, going all the way back to Athens, maybe Sydney, or even Atlanta, state-sponsored doping was not just happening with the Russians, but the US team, Kenyans, Ethiopians, so the long-distance runners, Jamaica, Trinidad. I could list off nations, and individual nations have had individual athletes fail. And so the Olympics is just turned to politics, basically. I was hoping that the KHL-based ice hockey players could play at the Olympics. That's now not going to happen. There has been a threat by the KHL governing body and the league and the team owners in the KHL to say, well, we're going to follow suit with the NHL, but for different reasons. The NHL was to do with money and TV revenue, and obviously they've got an upcoming player, owner and NHL bargaining agreement to thrash out unless there's going to be another player strike or lockout. So there's a trade dispute with the NHL coming up. The KHL obviously wants the NHL to have a lockout because they get all the star players over there and that makes them look good. So it's going to be a complex one. This is very geopolitical. I try and keep politics off this channel as much as possible. And in my early days, before I became a sports channel and I was just a ranting, angry, because I was very angry at the time, I had a few political videos. And I try and keep them off this channel because I try and discuss the sports issues. There are some politics involved with each sports issue, but when it's more political than sports related, and this is the opposite, this is not really a sports issue, this is a political thing at the highest levels of government, saying we don't want to associate, this is a sanction against this nation, because there are Russian sanctions in place against the Russian state. Same with the sanctions against Iran or North Korea or Syria or whatever nation is the least popular nation amongst the UN at the moment, they sanction it. If it's sports story with a hint of politics to the side, like the FA scandal with Eni Aluko, that is different. But I try and keep purely political stories off this channel, but it is a sporting thing, which means a lot more medals are going to be up for grabs for lesser nations. Great Britain has, I think, it's retrospectively been given the Sochi bronze for bobsleigh, men's bobsleigh. So medals are still being dished out from previous Olympics that clean athletes were cheated from. So it's an interesting one. I'm not saying it's perfect, and well, we saw what happened with the build-up of Rio when they said the Russians weren't allowed to compete, and they tried to appeal it, and then they upheld the ban. And I think there's been international pressure on the IOC from various governments, probably the EU, maybe other major Winter Olympic nations have got somehow this has turned political, and it's going to sour the Olympic movement. I really do think that the Olympic movement is dying. I was looking forward to the ice hockey competition. We knew the NHL were not going to budge on letting their players go, which is basically saying, now that's a big issue. The players want to go, and the owners and the league don't for various reasons. The league doesn't want them to go because they don't get the money, the TV revenue, like they did at the Vancouver games, because it was in a US time zone. That's it. It's them being greedy. The owners don't want their players to get hurt. Fair enough, but then thrash out a deal. That's why you have minor league affiliates. It's all very complex. It has ruined the spectacle of the Olympic Games a little bit. But it's not just ice hockey that I'll be watching. I'll be watching the downhill skiing. I will be watching the bobsleigh. I'll be watching the speed skating. Russian athletes will be banned from every single sport. So there you go. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I'll have some more videos for you soon. This is just a breaking story. I wasn't planning to post another video tonight. I was planning to do some more tomorrow on my rugby league stories and the NRL and build up the aftermath of Champions League matches tonight. But you know, this one's a bit more important. As I said, I try and keep politics off this channel, but it's happened now, innit? If you are going to be watching the Olympics, I want to hear your thoughts below. And thank you very much for watching. I'll have some more videos for you soon.